Good evening to all. Welcome to Sri Satya IELT. Like the video, share it, and subscribe it for more interesting grammar videos. And all of you, please also comment in your comment box. Then automatically the video will reach to others, and they also they can learn and they can follow this English video. So that's why you please as well as liking, sharing, and subscribing, also you please comment in our comment box. And if you come to our today's class, we have been discussing parts of speech. In our previous class and in our previous two classes, we discussed nouns and pronouns. And our today's topic is verbs and types of verbs. Before going to know about the types of verbs, let us see what is a verb. A verb is nothing but a word which says about an action or work done by the subject. Subject is nothing but either a noun or a pronoun. I repeat, a word which says about the work or an action done by a noun or a pronoun is called the verb. You see, we shall discuss now types of verbs. So some types of verbs are there, and specifically some important verbs are need to discuss. So today we do that one. So what are the types of verbs? Number one, regular verbs. What do you say? Regular verbs. Next, second one, irregular verbs. Irregular verbs. Third one is transitive verbs. Transitive verbs. Next, fourth one is intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs. Next, linking verbs. Linking verbs. Next, auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs. So these are main types of verbs in English grammar. You see, regular verbs, irregular verbs, transitive verbs, intransitive verbs, linking verbs, and another one is auxiliary verbs. Now we learn one after another. Let us see. The first one is regular verbs. We shall come to know about this, and I observed many students and some other people always they are in a great confusion or in a dilemma about the types of these verbs. So hereafter, I think and I hope you need not to confuse or be in dilemma about these types of verbs. The first one is regular verbs. What are regular verbs? A verb whose simple past and past participle are formed by adding ed is called regular verbs. What I told? By adding ed. Again I repeat, a verb whose simple past and past participle are formed by adding ed is called regular verb. Let us see. For example, ask. Ask. What are they? Asked. Asked. And another one, laugh. Laughed. And laughed. So, and another one, start. Started. started. You see, these are present, these are past, these are past participles. So what I told you, a verb whose simple past and past participles are formed by adding ed is called regular verbs. You see, ask, by adding ed in simple past and by adding ed in past participle, it became asked and asked. And if you come to laugh, this is present, but its simple past is laughed, laughed. We added ed. So probably start, started, and started. Next, for another one, look, looked, looked, and cook, cooked, cooked, and another one is call, called, called. Okay, next, tell, told. And you take one another example, cross, crossed, crossed. So like that, we can have number of regular verbs in English language. Again, I repeat. You see, this is present, this is simple past, this is past participle. So a verb which is in simple present, a verb when it converts into simple past and past participle, if they are formed by adding ed, is called a regular verb. So we learned about these regular verbs. Next we go to irregular verbs. These are very important in English grammar. We must know the differences between regular verbs and irregular verbs. Next, second one is irregular verb. Irregular verbs means just opposite to regular verbs. A verb whose simple past and past participle are not formed by adding ed is called irregular verb. Again, I repeat, whose simple past and past participle are not formed by adding ed is called irregular verb. Let us see for some example. Come, came, come. Okay, so simple present, past participle. Previously in regular verbs we added ed, but here there is no ed. Means a verb whose simple past and past participle are not formed, you please try to understand, not formed by adding ed, then that is called irregular verbs. You see, come, came, come. Next, eat, ate, eaten, eat, ate, eaten. Next, swim, swam, swum. Okay, next, bring, bring, brought, brought. Okay, next, buy, bought, bought. Next, sit, sat, sat. So you try to observe the differences. Nowhere we added ed. So that's why these are called irregular verbs. Come, came, come. Eat, ate, eaten. Swim, swam, swum. Bring, brought, brought. Buy, bought, bought. And sit, sat, sat. So these are irregular verbs. Again, I shall give you the explanation regarding these irregular verbs. A verb whose simple past and past participles are not formed by adding ed is called irregular verbs. Next, we go to the third one, transitive verb. Understanding this transitive verb is very easy, and previously many people, of course, they use, of course, they face difficulty, but when you learn this, then automatically you can learn these transitive verbs. So transitive verbs, a verb which requires direct object to complete its meaning is called a transitive verb. I repeat, a verb which requires direct object to complete its meaning is called a transitive verb. So here direct object means either a noun or a pronoun. So for example, we write one or two examples here. He opened the window. He opened the window. Okay, now. So if you observe this example, he is the direct object. So here the verb opened, it depended on this main object. Without subject, means without this direct object, he, there is no meaning for the verb. When there is direct object, then automatically this verb, it completes its full meaning. So he opened the window. And here another one is, I lost my pen. I lost my pen. So lost is the verb. Lost is the verb. So it depended on the subject I. Without direct object in this sentence, there is no meaning for that verb. That means these verbs, they depend on the subjects. Here subject is nothing but a main object. Main object. So when these verbs, they depend on main object to complete its meaning, that is called a transitive verb. Okay. Why? Because he opened the window. I lost my pen. So they have full meaning. So what happened here? The word opened, it depended on this main direct object, because to complete its meaning. So in the second sentence also like that. So next, if you go to another one, he cooked lunch. He cooked lunch. He is the direct object. Cooked, verb. So here in this sentence also, this verb depended on the direct object. So that's why a verb which depends or which requires direct object to complete its meaning is called transitive verbs. Clear? Next we go to intransitive verbs. Next, fourth one is intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs means a verb doesn't require direct object to complete its meaning is called intransitive verb. So likely it is opposite to transitive verb. I repeat the explanation. A verb which doesn't require direct object to complete its meaning is called intransitive verbs. For example, he laughs. He laughs. So laughs, it doesn't depend on main object. I mean the subject. So that's why it is called a intransitive verb. Next, they play. They play. Next, she ran. She ran. Here these are called intransitive verbs. Why? Because these verbs they do not require direct object to complete its meaning. Automatically we can understand by seeing this verb here. So likely these are called intransitive verbs. Next we go for linking verbs. Next, another one is linking verbs. So these linking verbs also, they play very important role, vital role in construction of a sentence. Linking verb means a verb which links the subject and predicate in a sentence. It is called a linking verb. I repeat, this linking verb, it joins the subject and predicate. Means it plays like a bridge. It shows the part of bridge. Bridge means which connects this side and that side is called a bridge. So likely this linking bridge also it acts, this linking verb, it plays like a bridge between the subject and predicate. So here for example, he is for example, he is my favorite teacher. You see, he is the subject in this sentence. Other part is predicate in this sentence. You see, this is. It is a linking verb. This is the subject and this is the predicate. This word is, it is connecting the subject and predicate in this sentence. So that's why it is called a linking verb. Okay, next, the boy looks happy. The boy looks happy. The verb looks, it also joined the subject and other part of the sentence. So the word, nothing but a verb which links the subject and predicate is called the linking verb. Next, last one, it is auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verbs. You see, auxiliary verbs, these are also called helping verbs. Previously, in our previous class, we discussed about these auxiliary verbs, and that time I taught you also they are called B forms. For example, you see is, or, was, were. So totally there are 20, mainly, of course, mainly 23 types of auxiliary verbs are there. Means these auxiliary verbs, they play as a assistant to the main verb in a sentence. That means a helping verb, it assists the main verb in a sentence. So that's why these are called auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. So I hope that you learnt very well, and we shall meet in another class with another topic in parts of speech. You please, all of you, like the video, share it and subscribe it for more interesting grammar videos. And you please, all of you, comment. Don't forget, you please, all of you, comment in commentary box, and because it will be helpful to others to reach this video to learners and to other listeners, and they will get some favor because of commenting by you.